Good morning, friends. It's that time again, a sunrise session where today we will be talking about the benefits of coaching. Hopefully, I'll give you a little context and definition so you can understand what coaching is. And then we'll kind of have a little bit of a live experience of coaching. So, as I'm waiting for all of my friends to join us, I'll just tell you this morning I am coming to you live from Oklahoma City, where I'm getting ready to co facilitate a workshop called Planning with Data, where youth work professionals get the opportunity to look at assessments that they've done on the quality of their youth programs, take that data to create improvement plans with goals and action steps to guide the improvements they want to make to enhance the quality of the experiences of the youth they work with. And that is very fitting because that is kind of how the coaching process works. So, today I'm going to share with you a little bit about how I got into coaching, what coaching is, and then I'm going to give you the opportunity to experience a little bit of coaching in action, if you will, on this live video. So many years ago, a friend of mine shared the newsletter of Valerie Burton, who is one of my favorite authors and also a coach, among many other things. And I would just remember being so inspired by her newsletter. Then I started to read her books and I continued to follow her and realized that she had a program where she coached and trained and certified other coaches. So I did some work with her coaching institute around coaching and positive psychology. I did some work with her certification program around being a personal and executive coach. And one thing I learned was that coaching is not kind of like, I'm just going to fix your life, right? So Iyanla is in a way a coach, but it is more so about a process where through powerful questions, active listening, accountability, you are being kind of guided or having a guide on the side to help you make the changes that you want to make in your life. So all of it is in you. It's just about having someone to kind of facilitate that process. So I took what I've learned about coaching through my youth development consulting work, through the study of Valerie Burton, among many other things, including right now I'm reading an awesome new book by Robert Greene called The Laws of Human Nature. I highly recommend that. I'll put all these resources in the comments when the video finishes. But I took all of that and combined it with my knowledge and experience of facilitation and adult learning based on the active participatory learning approach. And I've created this amazing experience for one-on-one coaching, whether it's personal or you're a business owner. I call that executive coaching, or nonprofit organization, as well as group coaching and what I call my soul tribe. So I have a few public sessions that I'm opening up to people who are divinely inspired, attracted, and gravitate towards this group. And that's been magical. The people who have registered all have certain things in common where it is just like, I am like, this is nothing but God bringing the right people together at the right time in the right place. So I'm so excited about that next week. But back to coaching, because I don't have a whole lot of time here before I need to dip and slip on out to my workshop. So one really powerful part of coaching is asking powerful questions. Primarily open-ended questions, which means there's no right or wrong answer. It really gets the person who you're asking these questions to explore and tap into what's inside of them. So one question I want you to really consider here, and I'll type it and just pause for a moment to give you to think about it, is what's really holding you back? So think about that. No right or wrong answer, and I'm typing it here. What's really, I can't type and talk at the same time, y'all, holding you back? Now, this is something, if you feel comfortable, you can answer in the comments. If you'd like, you could just marinate on it, think about it today. You can meditate or pray on it. You can write about it in your journal. But oftentimes we try to say, oh, it's my relationship, or it's my boss, or it's the job, or it's my finances. But a lot of times there's something else internal that we need to work with. Often maybe an emotion or just something we haven't dealt with in terms of inner work yet that's really holding us back. A lot of times it's really fear, right? Or something like that. So I want you to ponder on that question. What's really holding you back? The next powerful question I want you to consider is, What are you not saying right now? Oftentimes we're dealing with something, we're dealing with a feeling or an emotion, but we are not expressing it. Even if it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean we have to necessarily express it to a person per se, but what are we not saying? What are we not addressing? What are we not talking about that then may lead to my first question? What's really holding you back? So I'll pause a moment. I'll write that question in our comments. And again, if you want to take a moment to think about these questions, if you feel comfortable, you can answer them in the comments. Let's say here, what are you not? Let me capitalize that, saying right now. And whichever question speaks to you or resonates with you most, I want you to take some time to either think about that, talk about it with a trusted friend. You can type it in the comments here while we're live and we can explore it. All I'm gonna do is ask you further questions to help you continue to explore, or I want you to grab a journal or a piece of paper and write out your thoughts. The next powerful question, and for those of you who just joined us, I'm explaining what coaching is, as well as giving you the live experience of what it feels like to be coached, because it really is a process, not necessarily a thing where we just come and fix you and tell you the advice and the answers. We ask you powerful questions, we actively listen, and for my coaching practice, I've added another really powerful component of facilitation or using adult learning in the active participatory approach. So that means we do hands-on activities, we do artistic activities, we write, we talk, we move to help us really explore and dig deep about what it is that we want to focus on and work on over the next 3 to 6 months. All right, I'm going to do a couple more questions here, and then I'm going to tell you what's in store for you next week at the Design Your Life Soul Tribe group coaching session. All right, so the next question I have for you is, what conversation is it time to have? All right, I'm gonna pause to let you think about that while I type it up. What conversation is it time to have? You know what this means. You know who I'm talking about. It might be a significant other, it might be a parent, it might be a sibling, it might be a colleague, it might be a supervisor, it might be, and is quite often, yourself. What conversation is it time to have with yourself? For example, the conversation I need to have with myself right now as my life continues certain exciting shifts and transitions, and this last full eclipse moon did something to me, y'all. That's a whole nother video. But the conversation is time to have with myself is around, now that your life is shifting and transitioning in great and exciting ways, how then do you need to shift your boundaries? How then do you need to shift your self-care? Because what you needed even 6 months ago is different from what you need now. So how can you have this conversation with yourself and others who have some type of influence on it in terms of what you need to be able to show up and be fully present as a coach, as a facilitator, as a friend, in the way that is really exuding the sunshine and self-love that is a part of who you are? That's the conversation I need to have with myself. So again, I invite you, if you want to type your answer into the chat box or the comment box here, journal about it, think about it, talk about it with someone else. All right, I got 2 more questions for you, and then we're going to wrap this up with a little sneak peek of what's happening next week. Now, if you are not in the Detroit area, fret not. One, I travel often. I'm in Oklahoma City as we speak, but also I am going to be transferring all of these experiences to online experiences. Some live, but also some where you can just download it and self-direct yourself and do this coaching on your own time. So I'm so excited about that. But the next question is, what are you afraid will happen if you do what you really want to do? All right, so I'm going to pause for a moment, let that marinate, and answer that question internally, externally, in our comments. Write it down. What are you afraid will happen if you do what you really want to do? All right, questions in the chat box for your engagement. And I'm not going to talk too much about that one because, you know, Or maybe you don't know and you need to spend time talking and thinking about that question. But what are you afraid will happen if you do what you really want to do? And our final question for today, which I want us to end kind of on a lighter note, and really, take some time to think about yourself and the value you add or bring to the world and those around you is, how is someone's life better when they've crossed your path? How is someone's life better when they've crossed your path? All right, so that is the last question I want you to consider this morning. It's in the chat box. And again, for my audio visual learners, the review on those questions is: what's really holding you back? What are you afraid will happen if you do what you really want to do? What conversation is it time to have? And what are you not saying right now? And finally, how is someone's life better when they cross your path? So that's kind of my coaching in action. And I invite you to answer those questions as we are here together today. And I'm going to be here for just a few more minutes sharing what's going to happen in the live coaching session next week. That way, if you can't make it, maybe you can create this experience for yourself, but it will be nowhere near as all the way live. It's coming to the live. And for those who are in Detroit area, we only have 3 spots left. So you want to act fast. All right. So like I said, my coaching method is where I've taken the powerful questions, and those questions I shared with you were from Valerie Burton's coaching program, the CAP Institute, as well as the certification program for personal and executive coaches. And I am coupling it with my experience around facilitation of adult learning. What does adult learning mean? Well, adults need certain things in order to really want to learn and engage, because they learn differently than young people do. A lot of it is the same, but there are some specific things adults need to get their learning needs met. And one is like no information just for information's sake. So don't just be lecturing to me and talking to me as if I don't already have a vast amount of knowledge and experience that I bring to the table. So next week, here is a sneak peek of what's going to happen at the Design Your Life Soul Tribe group coaching session. Now, I'm only giving you a very sneak peek because you have to come to get the full experience, but we are going to come together and there's going to be 8 individuals. I have to keep it small and intimate so that everyone can really engage, share, and then we can just build this trust and community as we move along. But we're going to start with our group agreements. So what does everyone need from the group? What do you need to feel emotionally and psychologically safe to share? What do you need like support and help with personally, professionally? And what do you bring to the table? What's a strength or an interest that you can offer that's going to help the other people in your soul tribe? Then we're going to move into an activity where we look at the highlights and challenges, the highlights of your year, right? We can say 2018, the last 6 months, and really take time to think about that, because often we don't stop and take time to think about that. And then we're going to put that next to your challenges, your growth opportunities, things that were not working, things you would change or do differently next time. Then we're going to take all of that information or data and use it to inform the next step, where we will think through, okay, now that I know what I know about my highlights and my challenges, what are some things I need to stop doing? Behaviors, habits, limiting beliefs, negative self-talk. We're going to think about, okay, what are some things I want to continue doing? What has been affirmed? What has been working? Let me make sure I highlight that and think about how to continue those behaviors, habits, practices, thought patterns. And then finally, now that I know what I know about my last 6 months to a year, what has worked, what hasn't, what do I want to start doing? What habits do I want to enact? What behaviors? Then we're going to take all of that information and move to the next activity, where we create our soul journey map. So this is going to be a map to kind of guide you, because I want you to think about yourself as the hero on the hero's journey. And you can actually Google hero's journey. There's a beautiful body of research from Joseph Campbell that talks about how people are like the heroes on the journey that we see in great movies, great books, and you are given a call and you have to make the choice to answer that call. And once you do, your guide or teacher appears to help you along that path. And there will be challenges along the way, but you will ultimately get to the success you want and avoid the failures that you don't want. That's a whole nother video. Thanks for the idea. So we are going to create your soul journey map, which is going to be a collection of intentions, right? And I like to say intentions instead of goals because these are things you really actually intend to do. And under each intention, we're going to have specific action steps. We're going to name by when is this thing going to happen, what time, how much. We are going to get really specific. And you are literally going to leave with a poster called, Monica's soul journey map that you can put up somewhere you have to see every single day. Because even if you don't visually look at it, your subconscious misses nothing. So you are ingraining these new practices and behaviors and ideas and plans into your brain, into your soul, and watch the magic that will happen. I have testimonials from my last soul tribe about the amazing things that have happened in their life, new jobs, new careers, increased income, new businesses. So Actually, I have some posted in my Design Your Year. So go click on that. And then we're going to do some type of nice, mushy reflection for the day. So that's all, y'all. I got to get going to facilitate this workshop. But I just wanted to share with you what exactly is coaching. And in review, it's a process that is guided by powerful questions, active listening, and us helping to pull out what's already in you. And we are more of a support or a guide. And that's why I call myself a soul journey guide, because sometimes people are a little skeptical around the term coach. We did a little bit of live coaching. So if you weren't here when that happened, look at the questions in your chat box and work with those questions because you will begin the coaching process there. I also included a poll in this live chat, and that's new. I'm not sure how it works, but it asks you about what are some of the challenges in your personal or professional life you want to work on. And then finally, I gave you a little sneak preview of what you're going to experience next week at the Design Your Year Soul Tribe group coaching session. Only 3 spots left. I hope that you will act on that. And we're going to be meeting for the next 6 months at inspiring locations around the city with a group of like-minded individuals who are going to grow and create and be inspired and accountable together. Now, if you want more information, go back and look at some of my other live videos. I've been doing these every few days, and that'll give you more context about each of the events, what is in store for you, what you can experience, and feel free to shoot me questions. I'm happy to answer them. I hope you have an amazing day. It really is up to you. The tone you set will be the way that your day will flow and go. So make it great, friends. Peace.